Should governments use sovereign wealth funds? Hi everyone, today I'd like to discuss a fascinating topic in public finance and international economics. Should governments establish sovereign wealth funds to secure long-term national prosperity? Many countries accumulate substantial fiscal surpluses through natural resources, trade surpluses, or foreign exchange reserves. This raises an important public policy question. Should governments spend these resources immediately, or should they invest them for the benefit of future generations? An increasing number of countries have chosen the latter approach by creating sovereign wealth funds (SWFs), state-owned investment funds that purchase diversified financial assets around the world. Supporters argue that sovereign wealth funds promote intergenerational equity. Natural resources such as oil, natural gas, and minerals are finite. If governments spend all resource revenues for today, future generations will inherit depleted resources but little lasting wealth. By investing a portion of these revenues in productive assets, governments transform non-renewable natural resources into diversified financial capital. Future citizens can therefore continue benefiting long after the original resources have been exhausted. Another advantage concerns macroeconomic stabilization. Commodity exporting countries often experience significant fluctuations in government revenue because global commodity prices are highly volatile. During periods of high prices, governments may accumulate large fiscal surpluses. During downturns, however, revenues can collapse abruptly. A sovereign wealth fund enables governments to save during prosperous years and draw upon accumulated assets during economic downturns, thereby smoothing public expenditure across the business cycle. Economists often describe this strategy as counter-cyclical fiscal policy. Sovereign wealth funds may also reduce the risk of the resource curse. Countries rich in natural resources sometimes experience slower long-term development because resource booms encourage excessive consumption, weaken manufacturing competitiveness through Dutch disease, and increase political incentives for rent seeking. Saving a portion of resource income abroad may alleviate these distortions while preserving national wealth. However, critics identify several important risks. The first concerns political governance. A sovereign wealth fund often manages hundreds of billions of dollars. Without strong institutional safeguards, political leaders may influence investment decisions for short-term electoral purposes rather than long-term national interests. Poor governance may reduce investment performance and undermine public confidence. Another concern involves opportunity cost. Some developing countries face urgent needs for schools, hospitals, transportation infrastructure, and poverty reduction. Investing public funds in foreign financial markets while domestic infrastructure remains inadequate may appear difficult to justify. Critics argue that investment in human capital and physical infrastructure may generate higher long-term social returns than accumulating overseas financial assets. Investment risk also deserves consideration. Global financial markets inevitably fluctuate. A poorly diversified investment portfolio may suffer substantial losses during international financial crises. Effective risk management, therefore, becomes essential. In my opinion, sovereign wealth funds can be valuable in public institutions when they operate under transparent governance, professional management, and clearly defined fiscal rules. Governments should balance long-term saving with present-day investment in education, innovation, and infrastructure. Future generations deserve financial assets, but they also deserve strong institutions and productive economies. Ultimately, sovereign wealth funds reflect a broader philosophical question. Should governments maximize present consumption, or should they deliberately sacrifice some current spending to enhance the welfare of citizens who have not yet been born? The answer reveals how societies define responsibility across generations. So here's my question. Should governments invest national wealth for future generations through sovereign wealth funds, or should they prioritize solving today's economic and social problems instead? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for listening. See you next time.